What are you preparing for? That is perhaps the most important question that we can ask ourselves when we get started stockpiling food or supplies for a disaster. For us here in Southwest Louisiana, it's power outages after a hurricane. That's the main thing that we prep for. But lately, we've included other purposes that we're preparing for, including, we don't know what direction this nation is going in politically. So that's a big concern of ours, and we keep that in mind when prepping. We're going to start our pantry tour right here in the kitchen, where the magic happens, of course. We live in Southwest Louisiana, so every Cajun kitchen's got to have the rice handy. This is just some. We've got back stock of rice, which I'll show you in a little bit. And some of our produce stays here on the counter. We've got cucumbers all over the place that are coming out of the garden. Right next to the stove, we keep our spices and other handy things like oils, things that we need to cook right here. And what we do that maybe not everybody does, is we have small containers in arm's reach, but we also have, like this is parsley flakes, for example. We've got more parsley flakes up here, more in other rooms where we can just refill these small handy containers of all these different types of spices. And of course, right here in the front, we've got our signature Beausoleil blend. This is one that we make ourselves. It's available on our Etsy store, link down below. Here we've got some overflow because we've got so many spices here. We've got more stuff in here. Taco seasoning and fajita seasoning is also some things that we make and offer on our Etsy store. But this onion soup mix, I don't remember, did we make a video on this one? We haven't made a video on this one yet, but this is a homemade blend that is to replace those little onion soup packets that you can get from the store. So much cheaper, so much better for you. It is a little high in sodium though, the way we make this. I love these containers too. These are great containers. These are available, there's one type that's available at Walmart and another type that we use that's available on Amazon. I don't remember which is which.
Those are the ones from Amazon.
These are the ones from Amazon. Okay, we'll put a link down in the description for this as well. We do have a lot of cabinet space in the kitchen that we utilize for mostly pots, pans, dishes, that kind of stuff. But we do store a little bit of food as well. Coffee station right above it is where we keep snacks. Stuff that we use pretty often. Like that's a great value brand of Hamburger Helper. Sunflower seeds for snacks. There's a chili kit. Lots of chips, a little bit of cookies. There's some Bisquick up there. Just, things that we're going to use pretty often. Up at the top above plates and bowls and such, we've got a little bit of overstock just because we have the space. Let's say we're out of ketchup in the fridge or we're running low on ketchup. Instead of running to the store, we can run right here to this cabinet. This is the pantry that is designated as a pantry on the floor plan that we got. This is a double wide mobile home. We keep things in here that are pretty handy as well. We're right off the kitchen. The kitchen is right around the corner there. Starting up here at the top, we've got a little bit of baking soda handy. That's just, honestly, I think this one was given to us because we like to buy these big bags from Sam's. And we've got some of these in a bucket in the other room that I'll be showing you here in a little bit. Some of these chopped onions, we like to use these in place of fresh onions when we're out. Like you can see, we're out right now. That's where we normally keep our fresh onions.
But those are also used in the recipe for the onion soup mix.
Right. I forgot about that. Some Bragg apple cider vinegar with the mother. The mother is the active yeast, I guess. Is it yeast? The active bacteria that make apple cider vinegar. I'm not even sure. That's a mint extract that we made. A little bit of crawfish oil. Again, we're in Southwest Louisiana. Lemon and lime juice. There's more homemade stuff. This is a pumpkin powder made from dehydrated and ground pumpkin. There's some natural sugar back here. A lot of this stuff is more so just storage. Some we use. I'm not even sure what this, I remember smelling this recently when we went through our pantry. This is onion zest. Not onion. What am I thinking? Lemon zest. Lemon zest. That's what it is.
Onions don't have zest.
Onions don't have zest, you fool. Tony Sasheries. We have a lot of this Tony's because we're not using it so much anymore now that we've made our own blend. There's some breadcrumbs back here. We've also got some homemade breadcrumbs somewhere in here. Again, more stuff that was given to us. There's a can of beef and a can of pork. We don't normally use these because Amy likes to pressure can our own meats. That's something left over from a recipe. We have a good bit of canning and pickling salt here. A good little stock with some sea salt here in front. Vegetable oil, there's a few of those. A good bit of spaghetti. These are actually cereal containers from Walmart, which the spaghetti fits in just fine. We normally like to buy these in bulk from Sam's Club. We don't have a Costco real close by, or else we'd be shopping at Costco too. That's just some canned water left over from hurricane rations. Some mac and cheese mixes. These V8 energy drinks are just something that I like instead of Red Bull, which I was really hooked on for a while. These are a good bit cheaper and more healthy for you. There's some diced tomato. That's for a recipe, actually, the diced tomatoes. Ramen noodles, no prepper pantry is complete without those. That's a reused coffee creamer container that has instant oatmeal. Amy makes that from scratch. I think we have a video on that. There's some dehydrated lemon slices. And there's another big one back there too. Some more pasta.
Say it right.
Pasta for our Canadian friends. Quick oats. Now, the oats. We had tried to switch over to rolled oats, and we put some of those in a 5-gallon bucket with a Gamma Seal lid, which I'll show you those here in a minute. We ended up getting moisture in there and bugs, so it got moldy. Didn't completely go to waste though, because I fed it to the chickens. But we had to get rid of that and clean up that bucket. Some shelf stable boxed milk here. Quinoa, we love to use quinoa. This is actually overstock because we've got quinoa here handy to use. Kind of getting ahead of myself over there though. Some bouillon. There's some powdered bouillon and some cubes. We have beef and there's chicken back there too. There's a hot chocolate mix, which we have a recipe video for. Scalloped potato sauce mix. I do believe we made a recipe video on that too. Back here as well, we have a veggie powder, which is just a variety of whatever comes out of the garden.
Well, it's leafy greens.
Oh, okay. Leafy greens that come out of the garden. Amy dehydrates and powders those. And that's just an addition that we can put into a variety of meals to add nutrition. And it doesn't really affect the flavor.
A lot of that is Malabar spinach.
Oh, right. Because Malabar spinach, it's doing so good here. We recently changed over to stevia because I've been finding out that the Splenda, the yellow sweetener, has some really bad stuff in it for you. Monglier, that's how that's spelled, dried monglier leaves, or how it's pronounced, I mean. This is a wild shrub from around here that has medicinal uses, and behind that is dried mullein leaves, also medicinal, coming out of the yard. Dehydrated marshmallows, there's a couple of reused containers here of those. We don't really use these, so they stay. Every once in a while, in the wintertime, when we make the hot chocolate mix though, we'll add some of these, but I think we've kind of overdone it as far as stock.
Well, I use those when the kids come over. That's a quick snack that they can eat on and it's not messy.
Now, we've got some coffee creamer here. Normally it stays in those big red and white containers that it comes in, in here, but we had an
issue with sugar ants.
Yeah, and they were all over the outside of the container. So just to be sure, we switched containers to make sure that they were sealed better. That's Abby's cupcake stuff. And up on top here is some gravy mixes and stuff that we don't really use very often. In fact, the dates on here are probably... Yeah, that's from...
Those were given to us anyway.
The best by date on this is 2016. So we may not probably need to get rid of those, actually. Now, coming back across on this next shelf, this was a hot cocoa mix that was a gift. And then there's some cocoa powder back there. Again, this is a working pantry.
Got some stevia.
We've got a good variety of stuff in here. More stuff that's just not in, like the ramen, that's the open packages of ramen. These things are excellent because most of them, the nor like rice sides, noodle side. I'm not so sure about the noodle ones, but the rice ones for sure, which we have a whole drawer of back there, are just add water.
Those are too. The pasta sides.
Some containers ready to be used. Masa flour, that's for a recipe. That's how we keep our bread, which we don't keep a whole lot on hand because we really don't eat a whole lot of sandwiches, honestly. Now this is a few handy, before you go nuts in the comments on us, these rings are loose and just sitting on there because our regular ring storage is pretty full. I'll show you that here in a minute. But there's ground beef here. There is pork, which that one doesn't have a ring, so only some of them.
Most of them don't, but when I ran out of room for the rings, I had to find creative storage.
Deer or venison. There's chicken up here too. This is just the handy ones. We've got a whole bunch more in another room. Vienna sausages. One jar of pizza sauce, but quite a few of the pasta sauce and the Alfredo sauce, just because these are so simple, just to open a can, boil up some noodles, and basically you have a meal. You could always add, some Beausoleil, good idea. You could always add some canned meat to that as well. We've got some manwich here. These, I just picked up a couple of these. This is a great quick meal for me at the firehouse. Cooking red beans from dried beans takes pretty much all morning, if not all day. So these are already done. You just add sausage and serve over rice and you're pretty much done. I would add cornbread though. I love cornbread.
To the side.
On the side, of course. Quite a bit of tuna and lunch meat, or well, that's off-brand Spam. We love Bush's baked beans. It goes with all of our barbecues, so we've got quite a few of those.
I just picked up those packets of the packets of tuna, and Walmart sells some of those in flavoring. They're already flavored, lemon pepper and different things like that. So those are a grab and go meal. You can eat it right out of the package.
These are amazing. These little packets like this, especially the flavored ones, to add to like a bug out bag or bring along for a camping trip, because they're so lightweight and they last so long. We just bought these, and the best by date is February 16th, 2026. They're going to stay good for a long time.
Well, those have been really good because Abby can bring a packet like that and a fork with her to work and eat it right out of the package.
We've got a variety of store-bought fruits and vegetables. These are some off-brand Chef Boyardee meals. There's one Chef Boyardee enchilada sauce, because we love to make the enchiladas with the recipe on here, on these cans. Lots of different styles of canned tomatoes, including a rotel, diced tomatoes, sauce. There's a little bit of paste down here, which we need a little more in here, I think. Some pumpkin, black olive, more store-bought stuff, a few little soups. These are kind of, we don't really eat these, so they're kind of just leftovers. Eventually we're going to eat those, I suppose. That's a local place, China Country Farms. That's a salad sauce that we picked up from a farmer's market once upon a time. We don't really use evaporated milk. We've got one here in case a recipe calls for it. There's molasses and honey. We've got a couple here. We've gotten out of the beekeeping business, but we still have a couple of our backyard honeys here. And when we don't have those, we like to get the raw unfiltered local stuff. This is from Louisiana. More store-bought veggies.
Those are sugar-free, so those are my snacks.
Amy's, don't touch. That's some storage containers that we don't really use anymore, so they're put to the back. Some yams. There's some more locally made syrups and jams and jellies and whatnots. These soups, I really like these. This brand, this style, doesn't have to be that. In fact, my favorite, I believe, let me see if I even have any left. My favorite, oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's it. The pub style chicken pot pie. That's my favorite one of the chunkies. But these are easy. You just open them up and eat them. You don't have to heat them. They're better when you heat them. The pumpkin seeds here, that's for a natural animal dewormer. That's why we have them. Egg powder, which we've have a video on. Dehydrate and powder your own eggs.
That's some freeze-dried stuff that we got from friends.
From friends, yes. There's all 4 of these, I believe.
No, that's ginger that I dehydrated.
Okay, that's ginger. There's some coconut water back here. This is not something that we normally have. Abby bought this and stuck it back there and still hasn't tried it. I tried to drink coconut water from a fresh coconut once, and it tasted like sucking on a day old dish rag. I don't know if it was no good or if that's the way it's supposed to taste, but it was gross.
And how do you know what a dish rag tastes like?
I mean, I know what it smells like. So that's some green onions that are dehydrated. These larger, the larger footprint containers are the ones from Walmart. These smaller ones are the ones from Amazon. Both are, I think they're equally.
No, these are all from Walmart.
Oh, I'm sorry.
These.
That's a different style lid. See the difference? But either way.
They work the same.
They both do the same thing. That releases the seal. But it seals really well in my opinion. But as far as all the stuff in these containers, we've got instant potato flakes. This is the handy one. We've got more.
I like these containers because when you open the tops, you can actually fit an entire cup measuring cup.
That makes it really nice because in a jar, a glass jar, even a wide mouth jar, you can't really fit much in there.
No, you have to use smaller measuring cups, and then if you're making a big batch, then you've got to account for the different measurements.
So instant potato flakes, chocolate chips, brown sugar. This is a few of the things that we keep in these containers. Again, the dried onions, powdered milk, flour in the back there. This is the cream of whatever soup. I know we've made a video on this one. It's the soup base, and you can flavor it however you want. Make cream of celery,
Or you can
chicken,
leave it just like that.
cream of mushroom, cream of onion. This is the homemade breadcrumbs. You just take stale bread, dehydrate it. Is that what you did? Dehydrate, not toast, right?
And it wasn't stale bread. Well, I mean, it was older bread.
It was day-old bread. Dehydrate and crumble. There's cornmeal back there because we use that pretty often. We love our cornbread recipe. We keep a little bit of grits here, and we also have bigger containers to refill this one. Quinoa. There's a little bit of pasta. I think we just did that because we needed a place to store that. I don't think we have a whole lot of the elbow macaroni. I don't remember for sure.
No, we don't have a whole lot of the elbows. We don't use those.
And there's that's the handy container for the quick oats to be refilled by this one up here. Sugar. And there's various peanut butters. There's an almond butter, which we need to restock some peanut butter. This is not the best stuff. This was given to us. I don't care for it much.
Low sugar peanut butter is gross.
Yeah, and that's just
It's
my
good
favorite.
for baking. It's good for baking stuff.
My favorite pancake syrup is the Blackburns. Down here at the bottom, we have there's some more elbows. So we have some more home dehydrated stuff, and this just we prefer to store in the jars with moisture absorbers inside. This is tomatoes, We have some broccoli here. Various different stuff.
That's mixed veggies. And there's another big jar.
This jar right here, this is a half-gallon size mason jar. And this was 10 pounds of frozen mixed vegetables. And we were able to seal that in this half-gallon jar. You can see the benefit of dehydrating because it takes up so much less space. As long as you have the extra water stored to be able to rehydrate your stuff. You got to prep for your pets too. There's some cat food, and we've got another spot to...
Pick that bag up.
Oh, it's down here.
Those are vacuum sealed. So we buy the great big bags, and a lot of times they go stale before we can use it all because we only have one cat. So I vacuum seal the excess.
Some of the sweet potatoes that came out of our garden off of one sweet potato.
And it looks like we can plant several more.
We'll be planting again this fall. There's some dog food and the baking soda that I showed you a minute ago. I don't know why that water is even in here. This isn't where we store water. But there's some apple cider vinegar back there and some extra dish soap. These are some
in our KitchenAid.
Oh, in the KitchenAid, yeah. There's some potatoes that were given to us by Amy's mom from her garden. And these drawers,
those are empty.
Those are waiting to be filled. This is those rice sides that I was telling you about.
That's pasta.
Well, that one.
They're all pasta.
Oh, Lordy. They're all pasta.
We need to refill.
That one's rice, actually.
We need to refill on the rice sides.
Some more pasta. That's some stuff that Abby's been using for some healthier recipes. A cocoa powder and a monk fruit sweetener.
I like these. I think those are the ones I found at Sam's. It's cocoa powder, but it's in the bags, and the bags are resealable.
Actually, Signature Select, I believe, is Kroger.
Oh, it might be. I just like it because it's in the bag instead of those little square containers, because these seal a whole lot better. And then we have these. That's alfalfa sprout seeds.
I believe somebody gave us that.
That came from Kate.
Kate, I thought so.
There's nothing in those here.
Again, waiting to be filled. So this is how we like to store our canning rings. It's a loop of paracord, or a length of paracord with loops tied in both ends. We've got our regular mouth and wide mouth rings there. This room is a combination of just storage and, like, I would call it a deep pantry because it's like our bulk storage, stuff that we can refill other containers with. So I'm gonna start up here at the top. Mostly storage over here on this side. There's some candles here that were sent to us by a viewer. Some kitchen appliances. It's hand tools in case the power goes out. Kind of a backup plan, I guess. I forget what all is here. But there's some MREs up in the corner too.
That's a food strainer and the extra attachments.
Oh, okay. All right. There's our channel t-shirts, which we don't really get into very often. There's some overstock of the dry milk. We have a lot of dry milk. This is just what wouldn't fit in our buckets down here below. Some canning needs. I don't remember what's behind here. Some
extra jars.
Some more jars and stuff. There's some dehydrators back behind this. Or there's one dehydrator. There's just some more storage stuff too. But we've got dehydrators everywhere. But that's one of the less used ones. There's some packaging stuff for mailing out when people order our spices and stuff. In that white box there is Gamma lids. A Gamma Seal lid is a 2-part lid. The ring of the lid stays on the bucket. And you can take this... Uh-oh.
The gasket's
I gotta
off
fix
'cause we
that
cleaned
gasket.
it.
Yeah, I gotta fix the gasket on this one. But it makes a good seal, especially for food stocks that you want to get into often. It's much easier than trying to pry a lid off. And of course, some extra buckets up there. There's a chicken incubator. It's just nicer to store that inside the house than outside because our shed is not real friendly for storing things like styrofoam because it gets so hot in there in the summertime. It's just more storage stuff. Down here, we've got the water bath can or a slow cooker and another dehydrator. This is all of our meats that we've canned at home. This one is pork. We've got deer, chicken. There's ground beef. There's actually like 60 pounds of ground beef here. There's some empty jars in the back, and in the front is some more dehydrated stuff. This one is celery, I believe. There's jalapeno. There's cayenne. Some more empty jars over here. Some dry milk. This is laundry soap stuff, to where you can make your own laundry soap and if you're in need. And here, this whole shelf here is stuff that we offer locally at farmers markets. So that's why it's separate, and it's got these cool labels on it. So there's cowboy candy, jalapeno mustard, the dried mongolier and elderberry syrup kits, pickled banana peppers. And we do have, we made another 2 batches of this sweet relish that I need to find a spot for. We make a salsa and a barbecue sauce. And there's also a celery powder, and then the cayenne powder. This is homegrown stuff. 2 pressure canners and an Instant Pot over here. Canned butter that we have a video on that. Various broths. Amy does canned broth. She likes to make it in the Instant Pot and then can it in the pressure canner. We've got some pickled okra here. This chili and the tomatoes behind it came from a friend.
That chili might not be there this weekend.
I'm looking forward to trying that. There's some potatoes, green beans, and okra. The okra is canned ready to fry. We made a video on that after watching Miss Wanda's video from Deep South Homestead. This section over here is all of our oven canned things. I mean, we've got a couple of cans of water there, but we oven can or dry can things like flour, beans. There's some lentils, some grits, cornmeal. Those types of things can be oven canned and stored in these jars for much longer on the shelf.
We do have a few upside down jars. Those are just handy for when I need to add like dehydrated items to them. I keep them upside down so that none of the dust and things get into them. Much easier to clean and use pretty quickly.
Now way back in the corner, if I can just reach, we've got a case of carrots back there. These are some that we home canned as well. We did a video on that. Down in the bottom corner.
In that dark little corner.
Yeah, it's really dark in there, but this is what we've got in there. This is how we buy our coffee for everyday use. We get this from Sam's Club, and the coffee creamer comes from Walmart. Those are some things that are in there. These are out. They need to go in there. So
anytime we add things like this, we put those to the back. That way it's constantly rotated.
Yeah, always rotate. Put your new stuff to the back. We've got a couple buckets of rice. Actually, I think we have 3 buckets of rice because they're too deep. On these shelves, you can fit 2 buckets. So we keep a lot of rice, a lot of sugar. This one's full of red beans. This one is salt, which at this point, I'm storing the salt like this.
That's not a gamma lid.
This one's not a gamma lid, and it's hard to open, you saw that. I'm storing the salt like this because it's actually cheaper to get salt in these cartons than it is to get salt in a big bag. What I'm hoping to eventually do is open all of these and pour them into the bucket to where we can store more salt. Behind there, we've got another bucket of black eyed peas, and those beans and peas are dry.
Notice the labels on them are masking tape. That way, if you change out what's in the bucket, you can easily change the label. It peels right off.
Peel it off, yeah. And I label the front and the top. This one's potato flakes. There's the one for dry milk back there. This one's various pasta, and that other one is rice. This is pretty cool. This is a breathing hand washer is what it's called, I believe. It's something that you can wash clothes with this, just like you would be churning butter. We used it after the hurricane when we were out of power for 14 days. That was Abby's job. She would go in the in the bathroom, in the bathtub, and hand wash clothes that way. And then we would hang them on the line.
Along with the pantry storage and the overstock storage in this room, we have 2 Magic Meal dehydrators. And these are used pretty much on a daily basis, so they stay set up. They're set up on a table with storage underneath. Come in pretty handy because they're set up ready to go. Just load up your trays. I have trays with silicone covers on the trays, on some of them. And this is like a silicone netting. And it works out pretty well. The dehydrators also come with some of the netting sheets. We use what we have, whatever we need, but each of the dehydrators holds 10 trays. And then we've got our food saver set up in between, just kind of a storage thing so we can grab it and go.
Under our bed in the master bedroom, we've got some more home canned items. There's no reason not to use whatever space is available to store extra food. The goal of making this video and showing you guys all of our stuff was hopefully just to inspire those of you who, there's a lot of us who are brand new to a preparedness mindset over the last 3 years. A lot of us, like us, we've been at it for well over a decade, I want to say. But of course, our stocks are still growing. It's not like we're done. This is not a finished thing. It's an ongoing project. What are some things that you did not see here today in our pantry that you would keep in yours? We're always open to suggestions. Until next time, this is Brett and Amy, and this is Broussard Homestead.